I feel the need for speed. Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier with this classic Top Gun movie instant review. Mike's instant movie reviews. But of course, this movie is from 1987, I believe. 1987. Tom Cruise, I believe the chronology, his big hits was All the Right Moves, followed by The Risky Business, which was really the breakthrough, followed by The Color of Money, the sequel to The Hustler with Paul Newman and Tom Cruise, followed by Top Gun. Now, what did I think of this film? Well, first off, it's nice to see it on the big screen. They had it in this theater in the digital. Digital cinema is the way to go. Dolby Digital. Your chair just vibrates from the loudness of the audio. The picture's very crisp. The movie looked fantastic on the big screen. Looked great. Interestingly enough, I had been, a friend of mine, Michael Monte, and I had been talking of Monte and the Pharaoh show. We had been talking just before I saw the film, and he said something to the effect of, "Oh, Tom Cruise doesn't want that Kelly McGinnis in the sequel," and I really didn't know what he was talking about. And to be honest, I haven't done the fucking research to know what he's talking about. But I do recall seeing in one of those "What Happened to Them Now" type articles several years ago, 3 or 4, that Kelly McGinnis had come out as a lesbian, was living a quiet life. I guess she was doing some stage acting. I'm kind of half making stuff up just by memory, but she was also pursuing the lesbian lifestyle. And I don't know if Tom Cruise had the power of decision making for her to be in this sequel or not. I don't know. But I will do further research. I guess I should have done the further research before I started this fucking video so I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but that didn't happen now, did it? So, just an interesting thing. I'll give you my thoughts on the movie, but it also ties into society's general thoughts on Tom Cruise and this, phenomenal career he's had. Spoilers, if you haven't seen Top Gun, the original, because there's going to be a sequel now. All these years later, we're talking... 35 years later, and they're finally getting around to a sequel. I mean, at the end of this movie, spoilers, you kind of have the feeling, because Tom Cruise, even at the end of this movie, says he wants to be an instructor at Top Gun. So you have the feeling that there could have been a sequel before this, like way before it. The movie itself, I'll be honest with you, I respect the movie probably more than I like it. Like, the whole airplane thing is a little lost on me. I have nothing against airplanes. I have nothing against airline pilots. I once saw the Blue Angels in person, as a matter of fact. However, I don't have like this affinity towards airplanes. Like, I'm not that into it. It doesn't do much for me. Bungee jumping, shit like this, it doesn't impress me. Like, people that are speed demons, or they need the thrill, man. Like, I'm not into that shit. It doesn't do much for me. But in the confines of this movie, it's fun. I'll be honest with you, and look, call me what you will, because I hate to go there, but I'm going to fucking do it. Politically correct or whatever the fuck, or soy boy shit, whatever. But this is not, this is certainly, I'm just laughing because it's just such a thing that back then people didn't think about. This is not an ethnically diverse cast at all. I mean, there's literally one, not even, like, barely supporting player in this movie of African-American descent. And the poor guy gets yelled at, spoiler, after Goose gets fucking killed, Anthony Edwards' character, this African-American character, I can't remember the guy's name in the movie, or the actor, I don't know who the fuck it was, but he's in there, and he basically yells at Tom Cruise, like, "Hey man, you gotta, fire!" And this is after Goose is dead, and Tom Cruise turns around and says, "I'll fire when I'm good and ready." And so it's like, okay. And then at the end of the movie, there's like an end where everybody's happy and all these good things happen. And the African-American fellow, it's like they do a nice close-up on him, and he's like, and then they cut away from him. Like, he's about to speak, and they cut away from him. So, I mean, Now, look, does that ruin the fucking movie? Obviously not. But I can see, when you see some of these iconic films and you're like, wow, Top Gun, and not that there's a ton of roles in this thing, but there's 15 or 20 roles. And it's like they didn't even have a Lou Gossett Jr. in this thing. You know what I mean? Like Tom Skerritt is kind of taking, that spot of Lou Gossett Jr. would have, an officer and a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it is what it fucking is. I'm not going to go protest about it. And I don't, it's an observation. So don't crucify fucking me for having the observation that I can see when you have these things like Oscars too white and so on and so forth, and people feeling oppressed by the man. You can kind of see why. You know what I mean? Just a thought for you. Don't fucking get upset. Don't hashtag me. What else? You kind of have a feeling, and this is just kind of weird, but they have all these fucking scenarios. Like, this is kind of a chick flick, to be honest with you. Although you would think that this is an action film, movies for guys that love movies and all that crap, there's so much kind of borderline gay porn shit in this movie. The guys playing volleyball together. Tom Cruise is literally looking at himself in the mirror in his tighty whities when the Tom Skerritt guy comes in and says, "How are you?" "Fine." "Goose is dead." And he's wearing his fucking white underwear there. So they were definitely playing off the popularity of Tom Cruise with women, young women, old women, to go see a Tom Cruise movie, because they got him with his shirt off. They got some of these other actor guys with their shirts off. So there's definitely a thing where they're trying to cash in on women or gay guys or whoever the fuck going to see this movie. I mean, there's a lot of, Rocky and Apollo on the beach type material in this movie. There's a lot of also allusions to Motown. You've lost that love and feeling, and then they're listening to the fucking radio, and is it at Kelly McGillis's house, Charlie's house, and is it Sitting on the Dock of the Bay or whatever the fuck song, and Tom Cruise is reminiscing about his deceased mother, used to sit in her fucking room for hours with these albums and listen to them. So it's kind of like the movie's, I'm looking at this cat, there's a cat over there. So it's obvious that the movie has no racism in it. It's just there's no black people in it either. Like the movie, it's like, oh yeah, well, we can listen to the black people's music, but we can't put them in an airplane. And look, I know I'm being a little politically correct and or whatever the fuck, or maybe thinking about it too much. I'm just telling you the thoughts. I mean, maybe I was bored. The movie, see, I like a thing like Rocky or something like this. I guess I'm just not into that. I'm not into airplanes that much. So I start thinking about other nuances of the movie, and also how Tom Cruise as Maverick, and I guess the nickname says it all, he's a Maverick, but how, the world just kind of fell in love with this fucking guy. And there's a great line by Elizabeth Shue, my scene partner from Hope Springs. Elizabeth Shue says to Tom Cruise in Cocktail, which I think came out a year later, about bartending, and she says, "Your pretty little smile's not going to get you out of it this time." And so that was in that movie. But you can see in this and I remember reading something about the movie Cocktail where the reviewer said that line in Cocktail summarized the whole movie Cocktail. Like, Tom Cruise, you can't just smile and be a cool guy in every fucking movie. Tom Cruise was kind of glorified like a woman, to be honest with you. Like an attractive woman, how society puts an attractive woman on a fucking pedestal. That's how this Top Gun movie kind of favors Tom Cruise, and how society favored Tom Cruise. We still look past his Scientology shenanigans. We don't question him on these weird Scientology things as much as we should. It all goes back to convenient morality, which I've talked about in other videos. I've talked about it on Twitter. If you like somebody, you give him a fucking pass. So, Steve Austin, the wrestler, Steve Williams' real name, we give him a pass about his spousal abuse stuff because we like him. The people that stood up for Roman Polanski at the fucking Oscars, whatever year that was, 93 or 96 or whatever the fuck, the Hollywood elite that gave Roman Polanski a standing ovation when he got some award, but he's not allowed to be in the United States to get the award, overlook his faults. the accusations, the running away from the court system, the legal system. Well, people give him a standing fucking no. What can I tell you? Life is not fair. You know what I mean? If the society, people, whatever the fuck, if you like some celebrity, you're going to turn your fucking nose if they've committed some goddamn crime. You know what I mean? And we're all hypocrites. Every single fucking one of us is a goddamn hypocrite when it comes to that shit. You know, we'll hold certain people to a fucking pedestal and others we won't. That's the bottom fucking line. You know, for me, and I'm getting a little hardcore now, but if I'm out and about in public and I hear a Michael Jackson song, I twinge a little bit. You know what I mean? And because I grew up in the generation where the media and everybody else was crucifying Michael Jackson for 10 or 15 years. He's a freak. He's a child molester. He bought the Earthman's bones. He screwed over Paul McCartney. Then the moment he fucking died, he's a fucking saint. You know what I mean? Oh, he's the king of pop. Oh, we love you. Well, a week ago when he was alive, you fucking hated him. So going back to this Tom Cruise, in this movie, it's like, oh, Goose died. It's I don't know. It seems to me, I could be fucking wrong, but people's memories of Top Gun has made it like a better, more iconic movie than it is. Like, there's some good stuff in there, but to me, it never, I don't know. It just doesn't feel real to me. Like everybody, Tim Robbins, who's a great fucking actor. I met him once upon a time, very tall individual, but he's in this movie as Merlin. And it's like, where the fuck did he come from? Like, suddenly he's in at the end of the movie. Did I miss him before? I don't know. But it's star-studded. You've got fucking Meg Ryan. You've got blah, blah, blah. You know, Val Kilmer as Iceman. Like, at one point in my thoughts, I was thinking, is this whole Top Gun movie really the story of Maverick and Iceman coming together as friends? Is that the real plot? Like, is that the real arc of this? Because the Kelly McGillis thing, it just feels weird. And whatever happened to the old guy that she's with at the bar, he just seems to fucking disappear. So there you have it, folks. I don't know. I just feel that it feels like Top Gun kind of wanted to do a sequel like 30 years ago. Like 1990 or 91 or even 89. It would have been prime for a Top Gun 2. But it didn't happen then. Now we've got this Miles Teller. It's another story. Another guy who gets a lot of breaks, gets a lot of big roles. The people making these movies always seem to want to put Miles Teller in their fucking big planned movie, and then the movie doesn't turn out to do very well at the box office. So, interestingly enough, Miles Teller is a guy that the producers of these big budget films still believe in the guy, yet he never seems to cash in for him. Could I be wrong? I could be wrong. But this might be Miles Teller's last chance. It probably won't be. Put me in a goddamn movie and see the fucking tickets fly, okay? Because I'd be promoting that thing any fucking goddamned way. I don't know what to say. Did I like to? I mean, I enjoyed being there. I enjoyed the nostalgia of going back and watching this movie. And you're seeing a movie pleasantly enough with no fucking cell phones in it. Nobody's on a cell phone. No one's on a computer for very long. Tom Skerritt, okay? But for me, I don't, it's not my favorite. Comparing this to Rocky, any of the Rocky movies, The Karate Kid, I guess I prefer those movies. I like seeing Top Gun. I made a point of it. I revolve my day around it. I put other things on hold to watch this movie. But I don't know if I can honestly tell you. It's not even my favorite Tom Cruise movie. What's my favorite Tom Cruise movie, you might be asking? Born on the 4th of July. That would be a nice comeback movie. Born on the 4th of July. What's the one with Dustin Hoffman? The Wapner's on at 4:30. I like a lot of Tom Cruise movies. Risky Business. I'd like to see that on the big screen with, what's her face? The girl, the blonde, Rebecca De Mornay. What an attractive woman she was. Anyway, that's it. Mike's instant movie fucking review. Top Gun. There were some ironic hipsters in the theater today. Hope you're doing fucking well. I will be doing a WWE analysis video of this pay-per-view tonight, so I guess I better get situated. Please subscribe, share the videos. If you're new here, watch Mike's original films, Disregard the Vampire. Thanks.